What's up, everybody? Well, it's almost here. The 2020 general season for deer hunting in California is like 2 weeks away. I'm sure all you guys are gearing up for it. You've got all your stuff together, you're ready to go. So we wanted to come at you with a video telling you what not to do during the general rifle season. Probably the first thing you're thinking is, okay, he's gonna tell us don't road hunt. I'm not gonna tell you that, and the reason why is I grew up road hunting with my dad. My dad wasn't a big backpack hunter, wasn't big into hiking. He just liked to get out there and drive, and honestly, he was successful every other year on average. So I can't discount the success rate of road hunting. In fact, every year, hundreds if not thousands of guys fill their tags with road hunting. What I am gonna tell you is this is what not to do. Don't road hunt without purpose. What gives hunters the possibility for success in California with road hunting is just the fact that there's so many roads. The Forest Service roads, logging roads, there's literally thousands of miles of roads through our 33 million acres of national forest. We do have wilderness areas too where there's no roads, but most of them are relatively small. There are roads literally everywhere in our national forests and our BLM lands. So use them to your advantage. Treat your road hunting as if you're in the backcountry, you've got your backpack on, it's strategic. You're basically using a lot of the same methods to locate deer. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you have a mountaintop or a knoll or a ridge and you have roads on both sides of that, which is pretty common, look for tracks along the sides of the roads. Just like you're using the road to drive, a lot of times animals use those roads to get up and down. They're gonna cross the road, to use them as a thoroughfare going back and forth until they dive up or down on the hillside. So look at the edge of the road. A lot of times that's where you're gonna find signs, on the edge of the road. They're not gonna walk in the middle of the road. So on the edge of the road in that soft, kind of dusty dirt, that's where you'll find tracks, and that's where you'll find trails running perpendicular to the road. That's what you wanna look for. So don't just be looking up in the woods, look on the road too. So a lot of times what you can do is locate major crossing routes where these deer are crossing the road to get uphill to bed, downhill to water, so forth. So be strategic when you're out there driving and road hunting.
Another thing that you can avoid doing to increase your success when you're rifle hunting is hunting like you have a rifle. Seems really weird, but if you think like you're hunting with a bow, especially when you're hunting blacktail or highly pressured deer, your odds of success are actually a lot higher. A lot of guys will get in vantage points, look all around, and if they're not seeing deer, there's just not enough deer out there, or there's no deer, and then they'll move to another vantage point and look all around. Well, deer spend roughly 80% of their day in their bedding areas. So don't be afraid to get your rifle and go still hunt down a ridge or through some thick timber, because a lot of the times guys are just sitting out in the open looking around and the deer are holding in tight cover. So that's another thing. Don't just sit there and look at the obvious areas. Don't be afraid to go down in the thick timber, still hunt down a ridge for them.
All right, the next thing I'm gonna tell you is don't sit on meadows thinking that deer are gonna come out there and feed. Deer are not grazers like a cow or an elk. Deer are foragers, so they're going after plants primarily. So while you're sitting on that grassy meadow thinking it's an amazing spot, there is a deer just up the hill feeding on a clump of bitter brush or choke cherries. So just remember that deer are not grazers.
So another thing to remember not to do when you're rifle hunting is leave your scope zoomed all the way into the max power. A lot of times you'll be sitting hunting and you'll be looking out at something with your binoculars, and you throw your rifle scope up, whether it's an animal you're looking at, you're potentially gonna shoot, you got your scope up and maybe you zoom it in to get your maximum power, and then a lot of guys will forget about it. And then you're walking through the brush and a deer standing there at 55 yards and you throw your scope up and you're on 12 power and you can't see anything, and then you're fiddling with your scope and the deer runs off. If you've hunted long enough, it's probably happened to you. That's another thing you want to remember to try to avoid. Another don't do for rifle hunting, and this is a really simple one, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen other guys do this, and I gotta admit I've done it myself, but do not do this. Don't use your rifle scope for binoculars. First off, it's unstable and it's hard to hold your rifle up for a long time and it's annoying. Secondly, other than that, you're pointing a firearm at something you don't know what's there and you're just looking. So don't do it. Okay, it's simple, it's a safety thing, but don't do it.
All right, now this is kind of a common sense tip, and you'll find part of it in your rule book for your fish and wildlife regulations. When you're driving around in your truck with your rifle, do not roll with a bullet in your chamber. First of all, it's against the law. And I promise you, game wardens will stop and check your rifle. They've checked us before more than once. It's gonna happen. It's really unsafe. Do not roll with a bullet in your chamber. And the second tip, which you won't find in the rule book, if you're driving in your vehicle on a dirt road, have your barrel facing down on the floorboard. So don't put it on top of your foot or anything, obviously, but put it on the floorboard. Find a spot where it's wedged, it's solid, it's not gonna float around, but you don't want the butt of your rifle in the floorboard and the barrel up here by your face. In case anything happened, you want that barrel pointing as far away from you as possible.
All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys learned something. If not, maybe you're just entertained for a couple minutes. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. A lot of you guys hop on and watch the videos and aren't subscribed. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of cool videos coming up. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.